Tottenham till I die. I'm Tottenham till I die. I know I am. That's what I am. I'm Tottenham till I die. But I'm not dying this week because we did Barcelona in the Champions League, and we're going to do Burnley on the weekend, a game we're talking about with the Harlow Globetrotter Lloyd Styles and the one and the only Vlad, our marketing manager from Eastern Europe, as we break down the Burnley match in this special video preview. And it's always special when I'm joined by you, Harlow Globetrotter. How are you today, mate?
I'm doing really well. My voice is a bit rough after the game and being a bit sick, but I'm doing well and happy to be here again.
So is it true that you lost your voice by screaming your absolute butt cheeks off from your sofa?
I was very happy when Mora scored. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, it was a great night and bit nerve-wracking at the end when you're wondering if Inter were going to score, but they didn't. And yeah, so my voice is recovering still.
There you go. And Vlad, how did you react when it was confirmed that we were through in the Champions League?
Mr. Jolly was fantastic. Best day ever. But I have slight concern. You know how normally I say to you, hello is nice day, yes. But I hear that there is very bad weather in Sydney. This is true, right? Much rain and much wind. And you spent the whole night wet and getting blown. Is this right?
I'm not quite sure if I'd put it that way, but yeah, we nearly lost the roof of our house, mate. It was pretty mental in Sydney last night. The thunderstorms, flash flooding. I have not been able to drive. I was not able to drive last night. It was crazy weather. Thank you very much for your concern. We have survived. I don't think Burnley are going to survive this trip to Wembley, are they, Lloyd? What do you think is going to happen in the game?
I looked at Burnley, what they've done in the last couple of games. They won their last game against Brighton, but even against Liverpool, they switched to a 4-4-2, and I suspect they might do that again. Like they've seen a bit of joy. They were ahead against Liverpool, and obviously, as I said, they beat Brighton. So I expect 4-4-2 from them, which I think will help us because we like it when teams are a bit more attacking against us. But regardless of who Burnley pick, we should be good enough to get a result. We're a very good side, and Burnley have, they've not done too well so far this season. Certainly nowhere near as well as they were last year. So I'm expecting a home win, yeah.
If we look at their top scorers this season, the equal top scorer is one of their centre-backs, Tarkowski. He has 3 goals. Sam Vokes has 3, and Ashley Barnes has 3. All of their big blokes scoring goals. So they'll probably be a threat from set pieces, Vlad.
Yes, I think I don't agree with Mr. Styles and I, because I think that they will not just park bus, but they have whole fleet of National Express coach to come and sit in goal mouth and stop us attack. And I think that sometimes maybe we struggle with this when teams sit back and don't let us play, and we are vulnerable to set piece and big men with headers. I worry slightly.
We've conceded a lot of goals from corners and free kicks and centered balls. That's been a little bit better of late in terms of our defending from set pieces. What do you think? Do you think the coaches have made a conscious decision to coach to that?
No more than they would do usually. I mean, we've actually scored a lot of goals from headers this season as well. So I don't expect us to do too much differently, if I'm honest. I think that we're good enough, and as long as we're not smart about, if and when we foul them, we don't give them a chance to get a dangerous ball into the box. But I kind of agree with what Vlad said. Like they will sit back, but I do think that they'll go with 2 strikers because I think they know they need goals, and it's kind of a free hit for them. No one expects them to get anything.
Now, who's the player to unpick Burnley for us? Is this a game that Lamela might start? We seem to play very well against Barcelona with him getting in between the lines, and that's a bit of what you need in these kind of park the bus games, don't you? You need to get people in between the lines and get them through the middle rather than just sort of this really slow build-up play leading to crosses. And the statistics show that, scoring from crosses and scoring, from those wide positions doesn't really happen that often. You need to get in between the lines and attack them through the guts, as we say in Australia. So is this a game that Lamela might start?
I think it just depends on how fit he is. So with Lamela, getting 20 minutes in Barcelona was obviously good for him. And, we know he's played well this season, so I could see it happening for sure. I think we'll see quite a few changes to the Barcelona side, especially with the Arsenal Cup game coming up next week. So it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure if I would start Lamela because it's a home game. I think I'd want someone, I don't know, I was thinking playing maybe Son and Mora either side of Eriksen, but we'll see what happens. I mean, Lamela could easily take Eriksen's role and play in the middle, and you'd still get the two wingers providing width.
Harry Kane's done well against Burnley. Mind you, he's done well against a lot of Premier League teams, but any of the teams where he's got almost a one game to one goal ratio, you could say are right up there. He's got 5 goals from 6 appearances against Burnley, so almost a 1-to-1 ratio. How do you think the Burnley defence will get on coping with him?
I think they'll... Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go on, Vlad.
So do I get to talk, or is this just the Lloyd Style show?
Vlad, I lost you up there, mate. I'll resend that question to you. Do you think the Burnley defence can stop Harry?
I don't think that anybody can stop him when he is on fire. I think that if Kane is on top of his game, then he is almost unplayable. I think though that perhaps Mr. Lloyd Styles is right that they need to have some pace going at the Burnley defense to create gaps. So Mora and Son will provide this, and perhaps that opens up for Kane and he scores 1 or 2 more goals.
Good thoughts, Vlad. What about your thoughts on the rest of the selections, bearing in mind that we've got Arsenal in the Cup in midweek? And I know that you really hate Arsenal a lot. Could you tell us how much you hate Arsenal, and do you think that we should focus on that game and rest some of our best players for this Burnley game so that we can go and beat Arsenal in the League Cup?
How much do I hate Arsenal? I don't think there are words to actually say this. I think they are pikey scumbags who should fuck off back to South London. But that is just my opinion. Sorry for swear. But I think that that perhaps with the cup game coming up, which will be very important because everybody gives Pochettino very hard time when we lose to the scum. So I think that some players will be rest. I think perhaps you see Walker-Peters playing again. I think perhaps you see Davies playing. And I think perhaps Dyer plays for Sissoko. And then Morrison and Kane up front. And I don't know whether you play Dele or you play Eriksen. Maybe Eriksen's guile is better for this than Dele's running in behind. I don't know. What do you think, Mr. Styles with an eye?
That's right, Styles with an eye. Like Nobby, the World Cup winner. One of only 10 English names to have won the World Cup, just to bring that up. I do think that I kind of agree with everything you said about the team. I wouldn't be surprised if we decide not to play Kane and maybe give Llorente a full start. I don't know, but I think the Arsenal game and the Everton one after that are probably more important, or not more important, but bigger games. So if you're going to give players a chance to rest, a home game against Burnley, I don't think it gets much better than that. We've got a lot of home games coming up, and so we can use this wisely. But yeah, I expect to see Walker-Peters, like you said, and I think that Dyer will play. So it's a good side regardless, whoever we play.
You do know that Vlad has good insight, because if you remember last week when we talked, I tell you that Dele Alli scores coming in later at a back post. You don't know this because you don't have Vlad's insight.
So basically, to summarise, there's a good chance that maybe one of Dele and Eriksen will be rested. Possibly Son and Mora both play in this game. I'd say Mora is a very good chance to start. Does this mean that we're prioritising this cup match over this game, Lloyd, or is it just simple rotation?
Excuse me.
Don't die on video. It's very bad.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the Arsenal game is probably more important, certainly to the fans, and I think to the club as a whole, because we're so close to getting to a final. There's a chance, of course, we might draw the easy quarter-final draw. I think it's Middlesbrough against someone. We could get that in the semi-final. So you never know, but I think we have to prioritise it as much as we can. But if you've got squad players and you believe they're good enough, they'll play against Burnley. We are good enough to beat them.
I do think you're right, because I think we need to win something and get this how you say, chimpanzee off your bum.
Get the monkey off your back. is what we say, Vlad, but that was close enough. Let's talk a little bit about our Premier League run, H. This is the beginning of a series of mostly winnable games for us, and we've talked before on the pod about how we're usually very good in December and January. Can you see us winning most of these games, and where do you think we'll be in the league, sort of, you know, when this run of easier games kind of finishes? I think the next really difficult game we have is Arsenal in January, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got Man United in January. That's probably the bit. I mean,
that's right.
whether
Sorry,
that's easy or not, I don't know. But yeah, like there are games that you can look at and think we've got a better chance. The Everton away game, who knows what Everton shows up? If it's their best 11 playing well, that's a tough game. But yeah, like we've got home games against Burnley and then Bournemouth and then Wolves, none of which I think scares you into thinking, hey, they're a good side. They're all capable of getting something. Like they're not easy games by any means. But I suspect that Pochettino will continue to have this whole one game at a time mentality. We can't get too far ahead. We have to take each game as a real threat. Burnley are good enough to get something.
You'd think this is a game we're going to win. Let's finish up with score predictions. Firstly, from you, H, what do you think the final score will be?
3-0.
There you go, 3-0 to the Tottenham. And how about you, Vlad the Lad?
I think it's home game. I think that confidence is very, very high, and I think we win 4-1.
Well, I think we're going to win 3-1. I can see Lucas Moura scoring if he plays. I think Harry Kane will definitely score if he plays as well. This is a game we're going to win. We'll keep going on our Premier League run, stay in the top 3. Who knows if Manchester City and Liverpool slip up? Maybe at the end of January, we'll be on their coattails. Thank you very much for joining me, HG from Vienna, Vlad the Lad, our marketing manager from Eastern Europe. It's been a joy and an honour having you here. Shall we go out with a song, Vlad? Give us a song.
He wants song. Okay, for Barcelona, we sing, "We are going European tour, European tour." Sing with me.